Hi guys and dolls, today I wanted to do sort of like a pinky, rose goldy, rosewood kind of makeup tutorial. So I used a lot of like warm toned browns and a beautiful pink glitter. That is this one here. It's called Pretty in Pink from Lit. It's such a beautiful glitter because it's subtle. It's not like a super out there one, and you could replace the glitter with a sparkly eyeshadow on the lid, or like a pearly eyeshadow or something if you're not into glitter. But I think this is a wonderful way to wear glitter that's a little more demure at first look. It just looks like I'm wearing eyeshadow, and then as I move you can see, oh, it's a little sparkly. It's a little special. This is one of those perfect looks to have in your arsenal because it's using primarily one palette. I did use an eyeshadow from Inglot as well, this one, because there just wasn't anything in the Unzipped palette that was dark enough for me. This one is darker, but it's not as, it's a shimmery color, and I wanted to use matte in the crease. And then, you know, of course the glitter and, you know, a few other things. But even the palette comes with a primer, so it's one of those kind of like easy button ones. It's really great if you're going on vacation or just a really good go-to look that just looks beautiful, and it's very complimentary in a lot of different skin tones and eye colors and hair colors and all that nice neat junk. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is a little Velcro bow that you use to hold your hair back while you're doing your makeup. So very cute. I got it at Sephora from the Hello Kitty like cosmetic line that they have there. For primer today, I'm going to be using the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. You can place that all over the lid. This primer actually comes with the palette that I'm using today, so that's pretty convenient. The makeup palette I'm going to be using today is the Lorac, or is it Lorac? I think the person who created the line, her name is Carol, so I believe Lorac is meant to be Carol backwards, but I don't know how it's meant to be pronounced, so I'm sorry. Anyway, this is the Unzipped palette, and the colors in this palette are sort of like mauve-y earth tones, if that makes sense. So we have some of these like mauve browns, and then we also have some like peachy gold colors, and this highlight here, which is called Undercover, is probably one of my favorite highlighters of all time. I like to create like a nice soft hazy effect before I do a cut crease, so I'm going to take Unconditional with a nice big fluffy brush. I'm going to rock Unconditional in my socket line. I'm not going to be trying to create a like nice sharp cut crease with this. This is what I call a soft crease, where I just sort of wish wash and rock it in my socket and just kind of, you know, blend it around. This is going to aid the darker color in blending later, and also creates a nice fade. Next, I'm picking up Unbridled with a Royal & Langnickel Silk Green Line brush. I'm going to create a rounded shape above the crease of my eye. Sort of sketch that out at first, make sure the two sides match. Next, I'm going to come in with my blending brush again and just soften that up a bit. So now I'm going to begin to really deepen that crease. I have a very small shader brush here and a bit of the Inglot shadow in 378. It's a sort of smoky, plummy brown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this right on that line to really define that cut crease. And what I do is I pick up the color on this side of the brush, and then I twist it over so that there's no color on the side that's next to the lid. So it minimizes the occurrence of transfer, or unwanted transfer, that is. And then I'm going to pick up just a little extra color and place that in the outer portion of the crease, just a little bit higher than we were placing it before. And I'm picking up the Sonia Kashuk brush from earlier. I'm blending that in with the other shades I had. Now for highlight today, I'm going to use Undercover from this palette and a eyeshadow brush from OCC. I'm going to place that right underneath the brow. This is one of my favorite highlighting shades of all time because it's wonderfully pigmented while still having a little bit of translucency to it, and it's not completely matte, but it's not, you know, a glitter fest either. And then what I'm going to do is blend back with the other colors so we get a nice seamless blend. Picking up the clean brush again. Just blending, blending, blending. And once I have the blending just about where I want it, it's time to do the lid. Alright, for the lid I'm using a Milani Shadow Ice pencil in Champagne Toast. And it got a little skippy on me, but that's not a problem. I'm going to come in with another tiny little brush. Just smooth the texture out, make sure it's nice and clean of a line. Make sure it's all over the lid. And then I'm going to place a little bit of that right here in the inner corner. So now we get to the glitter. I'm going to be using the Clearly Liquid Glitter Base from Lit Cosmetics. And this is a filbert shaped brush. This one's from MAC. It's the 194. I think they discontinued this brush, but you can get something similar at a craft store. I'm going to dip the brush into the base and I wipe off the excess. And then the first thing that I do is I paint it on my lid. And then I'm going to pick up the glitter. This is Pretty in Pink glitter. Place the brush into the glitter like this. And then press that onto the lid. Once I've pressed it on, I sweep it to make the texture smooth. So press, sweep. Press, and sweep. And then in the outer corner, I'll go in the opposite direction. Making sure that crease remains nice and clean and crisp. Bringing that glitter in a little further on the inner corner over where I put that shimmery base. Now to knock off any glitter that may have gotten a little bit too high, we're going to take the dark smoky plum brown again and just deposit some color, and as you do this, it'll knock off the glitter. So before I get on to doing like my false lashes and finishing up the look at everything, I just want to say that I did do my face makeup. The dogs barking outside were driving me freaking insane, so I just got really frustrated and just stopped talking. And then also the same thing kind of happened when I was doing my eyeliner. I meant to do like a thin line, and then when I went to do the other, I got messed up. And I don't know if you guys have seen like that picture that's floating around where it's like, I'll just do a thin line. Oh, this one doesn't match, and then you go and you just keeps getting thicker and thicker. I kind of did that, but I ended up liking it thicker anyway, so I digress. Now we're going to do, or I'm going to do my eyebrows. I'm just filling them in with Fling Brow Pencil from MAC. Just a really light fill, just to make them look a little bit more cleaned up. To set my brows, I'm using the Lash Genius from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's kind of like a top coat that you can put over a, you know, any mascara or anything, or in this case my eyebrows, to make them waterproof. So for my lower lash line, I'm going to be using a smoky purple. This is Rockstar by Urban Decay. I'm going to softly draw that along, and as I get to the inner corner, I'm sort of not following the lash line as closely, because by pulling that color out a bit, it's going to make my eye appear even bigger. And then I'm just taking a little small brush and smudging the line. Do you see how by doing this, now the winged liner doesn't seem like it's coming down so far? This is a really great tip if you have slightly hooded eyes, is to add a little darkness down here, because it's going to help to balance that top lid. My eyelashes today are from Eylure. They're called Party Perfect Twilight. They look like this. Nice and sort of wispy and a little bit flared out at the end, which I think will go perfect with the eyeliner that I have going on. So these lashes actually come with glue, so I'm going to use that glue to apply it today. I just used it on this side, and I'm actually really impressed. Like, I gave it a little, you know, tug to see if they were on well, and they didn't budge, so that's always a good sign. I do apologize because my eye is like really red right now. I accidentally poked myself in the eye with eyeliner, which is always super fun, so I apologize for my red and angry looking eye at the moment. So what I do is sort of like a swoop and scoop. So you swoop it down and scoop it up. And then just a little bit of mascara to blend them in with my natural lashes. So for blush today, I'm going to use the Tarte Amazonian Clay in Expose. It's a beautiful nudish pink. And I'm going to place it right here on the apples of my cheek in a little swirly motion. And then blend it back. And then lastly, for my lips, I'm going to use my new NYX lip gloss in Vanilla Cream Pie. It's one of the butter glosses. So I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I really enjoyed this makeup tutorial, or at least I like the makeup. The filming process was like, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Remember to just be yourself. See you, bye.